Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. So, today we are thinking about scientific research made simple. Yes, and I have Lindsay here who's going to help us think about this because if you really think about this, it is the opposite, So, how can we make it simple? That's why I have Lindsay here to help us. So, with that being said, thank you so much, Lindsay, for coming onto my show, sharing your time, your perspective. Let's go ahead and dive right in. When you hear the word scientific research, what does that make you think about?
Bleh. No, just kidding. I really like it. First of all, thank you for having me on your show. Second of all, you didn't mention if vomit noises were okay, but they are now.
Oh, noises are sound effects are approved at all costs. Random singing is approved as well.
My voice sucks, but I might do that if I'm really excited.
It's okay.
I'm a psychologist. I have a blog for Psychology Today called The Venn Diagram Life, which is the Venn Diagram Life, I should pronounce that clearly, but it's where I do most of my dorky writing. The funny thing is that I ended up loving research because when I went to graduate school, I was like, okay, I did research for the National Institute of Health, Child and Family Division for 2 years before starting graduate school because I was awarded a fellowship. And I hated it because I was doing other people's research, cool stuff. And I still run into it sometimes, even today. But it's some of the attachment literature which is only going to make sense if you're a dork like me. But there's some like real important stuff, that happened while I was there. But also there is my desire to do what I want to do, which is in conflict with doing other people's research. So I have the greatest job in the world. I mean, I'm a psychologist and I see patients, and I'm a mom with 2 kids, and that's not the greatest job in the world, by the way. I have the greatest job in the world because I literally, once or twice a week, I'll write a blog for Psychology Today on anything that interests me, and I'll make sense of it with science, and then I break it down into language that the average person understands. I know this will be dated by the time your show airs, but I'm currently working on the second part of a 2-part series, so to speak, on on the science behind Love is Blind.
Okay.
I don't know if you watched that reality show, but
I seen a glimpse of it and it seemed interesting, but it seemed not interesting enough for me to actually watch it. So the fact that you are writing something on it, tell me what the
yeah,
scope is because it seems a little like you know what I mean? A little
but it's a lot. It's a you have to embrace the concept that these people have decided the only way they can find love is by being blind to it visually, and they meet in this room. Boys enter through one side, girls enter through other side, also known as men and women, but it depends on the contestant now, doesn't it?
yeah,
Uh,
right?
right, but and they go into the rooms and they meet people and they see who they click with, and they go
Yeah.
on these dates. And then eventually, someone, usually the man, I think it's 99% the man, ends up proposing. And they meet in real life. The woman gets an engagement ring, and then we see where the pieces fall. And that's where the awkward ick fun comes in, because there is an ick to it yeah.
Yeah. There's an egg to it because it's like
Oof.
how okay. I'm laying
Yeah.
out there. I'm just laying it out there.
Yeah.
How mentally unstable do you have to be to want that or desire that from somebody in a blind, you know what I mean? In a blind way. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I feel like, there's a lot of self-love and self-healing and self-trauma that you're gonna have to, that journey you're gonna have to discover and go through before you even think about actually finding love, because it's like, what is your real reason on the show? Is it because of the 15 minutes of fame? Are you trying to get this to get somebody else to notice you and be like, oh, she was so beautiful, I should bring her to my house and make her my wife? Like, that's not something that happens, you know what I mean? No one's gonna be like, you know what I mean? Like, it just drives me crazy to think like, what is your motive to really be on this show? Is it really for love? Do you really want love?
So,
But that's my
right? No,
opinion.
me too. But so we're on season 7, and I
It
watch it with my
lasted though.
best friends. It's that long, yeah. This last one was season 7, and actually they brought back a couple that had been that I remembered had been because that's tough for me because old and ADHD. But so I actually remembered them, and I was like. They were adorable and they had a baby. And I mean, at least for the 3 minutes of awkwardness, they looked happy, you know. Um,
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's got better success rates than um, anything else.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean, my
know.
comparison, I've just got anything. Yeah.
Yeah, because my husband got into 90 Day Fiance and I only was able to do one session and I was just like, why do you love this drama? Like, how can you sit here and just he just eats it up. Yum, 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 yum. He just eats it up like fucking corn on the cob. Like, why do you love it so much? Because it's unrealistic and it's so cringe to watch these people force these relationships. And like, why is this old woman trying to go out with this man who's all the way in Africa that's
Right.
singing a song about another girl where she lives and he named the song after her and you still continue to follow him? Like, why? Oh my
Oh,
goodness, I don't
I mean,
understand.
honestly, it just supports the theory that love is an idea rather than a feeling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they have this idea of what they want love to be. But when they step into that idea, it's like, oh, this is really not what I want. I thought it was going to be better. Or the romance, that puppy love is all gone. And now it's reality. And you have to be responsible and you have to work together and you have to communicate. And it's not about being dominant. It's not about being submissive. It's just working together. And it's crazy to see this all fall out, but it's even crazier for people not to reflect on these relationships that are aired on television and now reflect, okay, how can I put myself in that position? Like how does it relate to really to me? Because people don't see that, you're just like that person. Like you don't see that. You know what I mean? I mean, what is your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm wondering how old you are.
How old do you think I am?
30?
32.
Okay. So I am glad. So I'm 47, and I am glad that I am older than you and you still think it's ridiculous because I feel like in my 20s, I would have been the asshole. Ooh, are we allowed? Well, we did. I would
You
have been,
can.
okay. I would have been the person that was like, I'm going to go on The Bachelorette and, or The Bachelor, sorry. And I would have made an ass of myself.
Yeah.
Because what do we know? I would have drank too much. I would have, not thrown up, but, I would have made mistakes. I would have made enemies. I would have been my worst nightmare when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's like a sorority house, but on speed. I don't know. I don't think it would be a comfortable environment for me.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Like, how would I handle myself in those type of situations? And then I realized, like, I probably would have been a fool. I probably would have
Oh,
acted
yeah.
out of character. Like, I'm glad that one, don't have that impulsiveness to actually sign up for those shows. You know what I mean? And send in a submission and I'll do all that work. And I'm glad that I'm like, okay, a little bit, reserved to the point where I will learn along the way of my life. You know what I mean? And develop this knowledge or just learn from others and through observing. So it is an interesting thing because if I just looking back in my younger years, I'm like, man, I
Right?
was so foolish. Oh my goodness, I would never think about wearing what I used to wore or dressed or acted the way or said the way things that I said, and I'm just like, oh, thank God for a time that gives you grace.
Right. And thank God you don't have a television camera
Mm.
crew following you around.
Oh my goodness, for real. Imagine the 90s. And you know what I mean?
Oh, I
The
have
earth.
all my pictures on Shutterfly. I don't have to imagine them. Shutterfly, yes, I shit you not. I don't have to imagine them. It's
That's
uh,
interesting.
it's it is, and I like that science can be found in something as silly as a reality show.
Right? I mean, you would have never have thought that. You know, people when people think of scientific research, they think of these big essays that are submitted into these these panels to determine if it's
Yeah,
worthy to be qualified and using these big words that are supposed to sum up five other words and you know what I mean? You're supposed to know all of these words and understand the meanings and it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? So it's like, how did you maneuver through all of that when you were going through school and doing your own research and dealing with other people's research and all of that hot mess?
I was really bad at it. I was really
I
bad at
love that.
navigating it because I don't math very well. I had undiagnosed ADHD. And so, I was just like, huh, how am I
It's like,
supposed to
what are
read
you?
this?
Yeah.
Right? So I skipped over the math and went for the English because I know I speak English. And at the beginning of everything, every scientific paper published, there's an abstract that says, um, just a general gist of the summaries. And sometimes they're easy to understand and sometimes they're not. And you know what you can do if you find yourself like, it's got to be like a survivor-esque challenge if I'm posing this where you're like trapped on a deserted island and you need to figure out what's
Have
in a
to, right? You
paper.
have to fall this, figure out this essay to be able to escape out of the island. This is how you would do it. Continue.
Here's how you do it. You read the abstract. If the abstract is it literally says abstract or summary or something, if that shit makes your mind hurt, because it could, it makes my mind hurt sometimes. Thank God we have AI. Because you can just put
Mm.
anything you can't understand into AI. I will say I don't have to do this as much as the average person, but it's also easier if there's something I'm struggling with to be like, I don't understand. There's too many variables. There's too many correlations. They're talking about positive and negative, or, things that just make your mind go,
Eh.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how I structure myself and my research for whatever I want to write is find a topic and I go, oh, I wonder if there's any sort of relationship with um, see, sibling birth order seems too easy, but I'm trying to think of I noticed amongst my teenage patients that those with ADHD were often drank too much or had a substance abuse problem, and not a big surprise. I soon found out that especially in college, kids or undiagnosed kids or recently diagnosed, that's pretty common. And so I just type in, I mean, in the old days, I went to the libraries. Those were these big buildings with books, but
Hmm. Hmm.
but now it's pretty easy to just Google research and then whatever you want to know about.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, AI does kind of break it down, make it easier where you can just they have commercials for it where Meta now summarizes emails, text messages. I was in the car and my car was like, "Would you like me to summarize the email?" And I was just like, I mean the text message, and I was just like, "Okay." And but with the way that she did it was hilarious because it wasn't summarized. It was more longer than what it needed to be. So,
well,
with
they do have, I don't know if you've tried this, ask your AI to roast you. Okay, so a lot of my friends are writers. That's probably why this is going around my weird ass social circuit. But you just say like, given our previous interactions, roast me. You gonna try it?
me,
Yeah.
well, one, I don't have one of those speaker thingies.
Oh yeah, I
Oh
don't.
yeah, I'm not one of those people. You know what I mean? I've worked in IT.
I
I've done in IT, so I know that the less technology you have in your home, the better you are. Um, I'm not one that likes all that assistance. I like silence. I like to know what's going on in my house. You know what I mean? I like to hear. Yeah, I'll play some music, but I'll do. I'll like pull up my iPad and you know what I mean? Yeah, I did the old school things. And I even then I don't talk to Siri because Siri be not understanding my words and my
Yeah.
language when I speak, because apparently I have an accent.
Not really.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
know. So, but apparently I do, because every time I say something, it just doesn't go right. So no, I don't have one of those. But it just makes me wonder, like for those people who have those devices, how bored and how alone are you that you have to ask this device, this AI, to roast you because you are so bored with your life? You know what I mean? Like you
Right?
really, why are you that bored? And like, are you trying to have a pity party, or are you just trying to just have fun? You know what I mean? Like, 'cause certain people can't take roasting. You know what I mean? They will get booty hurt, just sore in the heart, just mad at the world because you hit up spot that they didn't know, or they weren't ready for. You know what I mean? So it's just like I I I have a lot of questions for those individuals. Why?
Well, I
But
did it when I found out about it, and it's like, oh, you write so much about reality television, you must want to be on a reality show. That's the summary. I was like,
oh, that's lame.
yeah, I was like, can you do better? Like, I'm an anxious mess. Write about that, tease me about that. Like,
I guess it's aware of your emotions. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, we don't want to touch on that. You know what I mean? On the social anxiety or the mental capacity. Because how does a robot determine a human's mental capacity when they are so beyond our own understanding and our own knowledge? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like for them, it's like, how dumb do I have to already put it for you? So that you can understand it in a way that you can receive it. So I think that's already a complex situation I expect for a robot. You know what I mean?
well, I also like I've written. I know that I've written a lot about social media, reality television lately, uh, because it sucks in a new audience. I like to think.
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
And so it thinks I want to be on a reality show, which is funny because I read a lot about how unhealthy these are at times. So,
Yeah, I've read some of the effects of some people. I even seen how some people just are in debt because of it. They've lost relationships because of it, family members, children, you know what I mean? All these issues that come along with somebody's choice to do this. So it makes you wonder, like, where are you at in your life where you feel like this is an escape route, or is this the way to go? This is going to give you the epiphany moment. This is going to know.
last option, I don't know. Yeah.
You know, exactly. Like there's so many options. Though you could be a truck driver. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could be a stripper if you really wanted to explore new avenues. I mean, I don't know. There's so many things to do in this world where it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go out, join on a reality show, see where this takes
Right.
me.
And it would be nice. It would be funny if my AI roasted me with "You want to be a stripper" because that would be funny.
Right? Just randomly, just yeah, you should be a stripper. No,
Yeah, right. I'm like, thank you, I guess.
right? I'm gonna take it as a compliment. I've been feeling kind of low. No.
Right.
That's funny. Well, this conversation, it has been interesting. It's most definitely wasn't how I planned it to be. I probably asked one question of what I thought, so that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Because this was a lot more interesting, and it was so easy to just talk to you. So I really enjoyed this, Lindsay. So I guess
Thanks.
let's start wrapping up the show. What can be some lasting words of wisdom that you can leave us off with?
Yeah, don't be afraid of sciencey stuff because we have all the tools to take it apart. And if you're curious about what you should do in any situation, romance comes to mind just because it does. And I also write a lot about that. There's research to tell you what to do with everything, or what the
Yes.
likelihood is if you turn down, if you make a right or a left, or if you turn down route A or route B. We have this information available at our disposal. Why not use it? And you could even, I mean, I don't usually use the AI. I just use the Google, but if I'm confused, I am going to use the AI. And it's okay to ask for help because you're learning a new language. It sounds as dorky in my with the words coming out of my mouth that I thought it would, and that's okay. I like it.
It works. It works because it is a language. It is a new understanding. You got to find the pattern to it. You got to find the rhythm to it. You got to find the flow of what works for you. And when you're able to find that, it's able to resonate. You know what I mean? You're able to
Ah,
decipher what's exactly being predicted. You know what I mean? Read the abstract, but if you're in a stranded island and all you have is that research paper to get you out and you have the abstract and you don't
yes.
have technology to do that, you have to at least break it down. I think breaking it
Where
down.
are you on an island that you don't have technology? I don't want to go to that island, I don't
I
think.
mean, there's plenty of islands that don't have electricity and technology that's so upgraded to the United States or Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like there's
it's
a
also
lot.
it's hurricane season in Florida.
Yeah, and it's hurricane season too, so that means there's a lot of islands that did have power but no longer have power.
Right. No, but try something new. Probably we're not going to learn the new language, a new foreign language that we haven't tried yet. But the idea of possibly learning to speak a language that we already understand for a different purpose is kind of cool, I think.
It is. It is. It's like math language, you know what I mean, or coding language, you know what I mean? When you are understand able to catch the language and the rhythms
And you
and everything that's in
understand.
there, then you're able to like, oh, okay, so this isn't that bad. This is okay. This is you can maneuver through the tall grass or whatever, for those other visual people. But yeah, thank you so much. And anybody who's interested to know more about Lindsay, check her out. I have her information on my website with her lovely photo. Just right there, just click under her photo so that you can continue on thinking. So with that being said, bye.